10 Toes In podcast. Today we're going to talk about Brian Steele, the attorney, Young Thug's attorney.
Young Thug state attorney in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, so I had Brian Steele as an attorney back in 2014. I hired him in 2011.
On your Fed case?
On my Fed case.
How'd he do?
Well, he was really good until the end.
What happened? Because I know some of the story, but why did he fire you or did you fire him?
Neither. Well, once the case was over with, all the way to sentencing, I fired him. I didn't let him fight my appeal or continue to keep going. He left me hanging in court on trial. It later came out that the feds got to him. But the thing with Brian that people need to understand, people think he's the best attorney. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, he's not. Brian makes a name for himself because he knows how to show out when the cameras are on. When the cameras are not on, guys, I promise you he's not as good as he is. I paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can back it up. And
you can go to Pacer and see that Brian Steele was your attorney.
Yes. And then also, there's no clips, no nothing out there talking about I didn't pay. I see people in the comments talking about, oh, well, you must not pay them. No, I paid them hundreds of thousands.
You don't get an attorney like Brian Steele without paying.
Oh, no.
And they won't even show up. I mean, I had a client from Federal Prison Tips that had a high-priced attorney, and he ran out of money, and then he was like, my attorney never showed up for court. And I said, well, did you finish paying him? He said, well, I was going to pay him later. No, you got to finish paying him front, brother.
They won't go to trial without the money.
No, it's got to be in their pocket.
It's got to be in their pocket.
You're talking hundreds of thousands.
And you can see on
50,000 at least.
Yeah, you can see on Pacer that he was still my attorney during sentencing.
Yeah.
So, I will tell you this, guys. So I'm going to tell you a few little things. He talks a big game. Oh, he's loud and he's proud. But when it came to trial time, he had a big mouth about, I'm going to do this, do that, do that. And when I tell you we had the dirt on my co-defense, we had the dirt.
Did he use it?
No, that's the problem.
Right, that's the problem. So, go ahead.
So, in my first case, I had Brooke Butler, fire. Young, little tiny, blonde, never fought a Fed case, really close to me. The only reason why she took it is because of me. We had a lot of dirt on my co-defendants. Well, guess what? I beat that Fed case. Her first Fed case ever. Brooke Butler beat it. She won't touch another Fed case because how they play. That's why I said we're going to touch on this one. Brian might be fire in state, but guess what, Kyle?
I don't think he's going to be the fire in the feds. And he just joined a really big Fed case.
Yeah, P. Diddy. He's jumping on P. Diddy's case. And everybody in TikTok is talking about, oh, man, we watched Brian in 4K, woo, woo, woo. Well, yeah, we're going to hear that woo, woo, woo when we find out nothing happens when Brian comes on. Feds don't play by the same game, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's easy to beat the states, easy to bully them, whatever. The feds do not play by the same what?
The funny thing, though, about the woo, 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 because I've seen it online. Ever since it came out that Brian was joining Diddy's defense team, all those people were like, yeah, woo, woo, woo. P. Diddy's going to win now. Brian Steele, Brian Steele, Brian Steele. A month ago, before Brian Steele was in the thing, they were like, man, I ain't going to mess with Diddy, that chomo, man. He's going down for the rest of his life. So now what?
Yeah. Now all of a sudden everybody's in his corner.
That's the thing. It's public opinion. It's not the facts. You think it's the best thing to have Brian Steele, who's done some firework in the state of Georgia.
Yeah. No, he has. He's beat some big cases. I'm not saying he's totally garbage. What I'm trying to tell you is Brian Steele going up against the feds is a nobody. The feds do what they want, how they want to do it. I can tell you right now, when you go to trial, it's all people think you got to have the best attorney. That's false. So how it works in the feds is that it's like a movie script. It's whoever can write the best movie script and to go in front of a judge panel. Okay. So which is your jury. And whoever can play the best movie and have the best script of telling a story and gets their attention of like, oh my God, that story right there killed it. That's who's going to win. And the only reason why I beat my Fed case, my first thing is what they say, is because I got the jury on my side.
And that was the Brian Steele case?
No,
that was the Brooke case.
That's the Brooke case. Right. She never fought a Fed case in her life, and she won it.
Was that Atlanta, Georgia, or Florida?
Florida, Jacksonville, Florida.
And then you lost in Georgia.
I lost in Georgia. So when it was time, my co-defendants got up on the stand to testify. We had so much dirt. So my one co-defendant, Jesse, I drove all the way to Georgia because Florida laws won't let you record them without telling them.
Right.
You have to say like, hey, you're being recorded, or you have to say some type of code words like for the record.
Right. You know, so Georgia and Maryland are one party states.
Yeah. So what I did was I drove all the way to Georgia. I heard him got it once he took his plea deal, and I made a phone call and I was like, hey, listen, let me call you back. So I drove 4.5 hours to Georgia to ping off of Georgia Tower, and I called him and I recorded the phone conversation of him, and I still got it on my phone right now. of him saying, because it was in iCloud, him saying, man, we didn't do nothing wrong, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So I had a good phone conversation of him saying that we didn't do anything wrong and that the feds lied in this proffer and were trying to get him to say things he didn't want to say. So I was like, got him, just like my first case. So then my other co-defendant, Tara, she had came and wrote a proffer to my attorneys and signed it with a had it notarized and signed it, of saying that we didn't do nothing wrong and that she's not going to change her thing. And then as soon as they handed her a plea deal with no prison time, she changed her tone. And we had her going to put, when she got on stand, we were going to present all this stuff just like we did in Florida.
Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
yeah. So why'd you change your story?
Why'd you change your story?
Yeah. So once you paint him as a liar, doesn't matter what they say or what they do. If they put one thing on a phone, if they say one thing on a phone call, another thing on a piece of paper and sign it, and then they say something else on the stand, the jury just can't believe them. They know that they're doing it for a plea deal. So we had them, and then when it comes time to go thing, Brian wouldn't present none of the evidence.
Why not? I mean, what was did he say why not? Was he scared?
He never said why he didn't. He kept telling me to believe in him and believe in him and believe in him. Oh, it's, we don't want to beat him up. Oh, this is what he said. He says, oh, we don't want to go at him too hard or criticize. It makes you look really bad. And I'm like, it's not what we did in Florida, and we won. And he's like, no, you have to trust me. We can't just beat them up and make them look badder up, and they're going to think we're bullies and stuff.
Who cares what they think?
Yeah, we don't care what they think. You got to get the facts out and do all this stuff. So,
and let me just make sure I understand. This is Brian Steele, Young Thug's attorney, that you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for.
Dude, I paid $100,000.
He was actually literally. I tell all of our clients the attorney works for him, but he was actually working for you.
Yeah,
not doing what you told him to do.
I had to pay $150,000 just to talk to him, take my case, just to talk to him.
And he didn't do what you told him to do.
Yeah, I paid him over $250,000. I want to say, to go to trial, and then I had a jury consult, which was another $50,000. We did 2 mock juries, which I think were $25,000 a piece, if not more. So I got over 300. I think around 375. I think I was total fighting the case with him.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that, which is a lot, but it's not a lot compared to other cases I've seen and talked to. But so during when Tar was on the stand, this is what the crazy part is that people got to understand. Luckily, one of the jurors had passed a note that they had to use the restroom. So the judge called for a restroom break. And I turned around. I had to talk to my mom or something real quick, because I was frustrated. And I turned around and Brian's missing. I'm like, where the hell is he at? So when you're on a big case like that, they give you a conference room. Each person gets a conference room. So I went to my conference room to see if I catch him in there. He was in there with Tara's attorney. And I heard him as I walked to the door say to her attorney, or her attorney was saying to my attorney, I thought you were going to take it easy on her so she can keep her plea deal.
You heard him talk that conversation?
Yeah, so I went after Brian, and then the other attorney got in between us. And yeah, they wouldn't let him get off my case or nothing. We were too far in, and they wouldn't talk about it on the record. There's a lot of stuff in my case that's messed up. Did
you 2255 that?
Can't. It wasn't on the record. Can't prove it.
Oh, yeah, because it was in the conference room.
It's in the conference room.
Damn.
They wouldn't admit to it.
So
I heard it.
So that's what working with the infamous Brian Steele is actually like.
Yep. They cut deals behind the scenes. Listen, if the cameras are not there, he's not going to fight for you. The only reason why he's jumping on these big cases. Okay, so let's break it down for this one. The only reason why he did for Young Thug, because he knew why. They were going to put him in jail. He knows them. He works with them all the time. He knows how they work. He showed out just for a good, press thing. Cameras are there, knowing damn well they weren't going to put him in jail. And did they put him in jail?
Nope.
Yeah, because he knew it. I mean, we're not dummies. They play the same game. So all these people that are talking all this stuff, we're going to see how he does. I don't think he's going to do that good, to be honest with you. You're not going to see the press. You're not going to see him in it. You notice it's not, you see it on TikTok, but you don't see it nowhere else. How's he going to, they don't allow cameras in the feds, in the courtroom, so he's not going to get no press. They brought him in as probably a consultant and a third-party attorney or whatever, but what kind of power does he have outside of Atlanta?
None, and this is a big federal case. It's in New York. It's not even in Atlanta.
Yeah. This whole thing of bringing outside attorneys in, I give a lot of tips on my TikTok. I'm going to explain something to you guys. Do not hire an attorney that was an ex-prosecutor. Do not hire an attorney that's outside of your district. And the reason why I say this is the courts do not like when other attorneys from other places come in and bully. I'm telling you right now, it's the wrong thing to do. Keep attorneys in that area and do not hire ex-prosecutors and all that stuff, because at the end of the day, they still play on the same team and everything else.
And they get checks from the same government.
You damn right. So one of the things I've noticed through the years of dealing with attorneys going to trial so many times is hiring up and coming ones. Once attorney has made his name and you're nobody, if you're not a young thug or something like that, if he loses your case, he doesn't work for you. It doesn't make the press. Does anybody talk about it?
Nobody does.
Nobody talks about it. So they know they don't have to fight for you. They got a name. You want that attorney that's making waves. The one.
They're going to talk about it if Diddy loses, but I don't think he's going to lose, and I don't think that he needs Brian Steele to win. Honestly.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm getting at is you want attorneys that are making waves coming up in the industry. You don't want the one that's already made the wave because he's made it. His name is golden. You're nobody. So if he loses on you, nobody's talking about it. It's not in the newspaper. It's not in the press. So they don't hear about it. They just still hear young thug, young thug. But at the end of the day, didn't everybody else get off on young thug?
Yes.
They got a charge drop. Meanwhile, he took a plea deal, copped out real quick. And then after he did, what happened? I thought the other cases got thrown out.
Most of them did. A couple of them got, sentenced to time served.
Yeah, but it was because they took plea deals.
Right.
But the other ones didn't take plea deals.
Which ones?
I heard a couple of them went all the way to the end. Or they threw the whole case out.
A couple, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to follow back up on it. The only thing what I'm getting at is quit going for prosecutors, quit going for people that, have already made a name. Find out who's the up and coming, who's thirsty to make that name. That's the people you want to fight with.
You want the people that are going to fight for you.
Yeah. Every attorney is good. And I've always said this. They're only good is if they're good for you, as in if they like you. And I'm going to give you another rule of thumb, a little tip. When you hire an attorney, only tell them what they need to know at the beginning. The only time that you tell them everything is if you're going to trial. And once you got to that point that you're going to go to trial, then you open up and you tell them everything. And people ask me why. If you're going to end up taking a plea deal or you don't know at the very beginning, the last thing you want to do is implement yourself even more than what you are or tell them too much. Because I don't care what anybody says. Behind the scenes, they go and talk. So if you're going to if you're planning on going to trial, at the very beginning, never tell your attorney everything.
No, you don't tell your attorney
Why
everything.
Is that?
Because first off, you might end up changing attorneys. I mean, that's a given. And then also, you want to see what they're going to do, what they can find for you.
Yeah. So too many people go in there and tell them too much stuff, and the feds don't even know it. So if you're wanting a good plea deal eventually, if you're wanting to cop out and you want to plea, you don't want to tell them too much because I don't care what anybody says. That attorney deals with the prosecutors daily. Okay. They build a relationship of some sort. And if you get that attorney thinking you're a scumbag or a piece of shit or whatever, blah, 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 blah.
They're not going to fight for you.
They're not going to fight for you and they're going to screw you. So if your attorney doesn't know much about you and the feds only say so much and you're like, listen, I want to cop out, but this shit ain't true, da-da-da-da-da, like I'm just telling you. But if you go in there and it's like, yeah, and your attorney's like, damn, dude, like, how is he going to fight for a plea deal for you when he tells him like, yeah, this fucking dude told me everything. I don't trust them, attorneys all, because here's the thing that people got to understand. What do they do in the courtroom for you?
Get deals?
No, they lie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Attorneys go to school to learn how to lie because they're fighting for people that are what? Criminals. And they're trying to tell the jury what?
That they're not.
You're not a thing. So like you got
that guy's not MS-13?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty wild myself. So the thing is, you got to realize, do not tell them everything. If you're going to go to trial, you got to tell them everything. Because one thing about going to trial that I learned, you want no surprises. Because if your attorney starts fighting and you left something big out or you didn't tell them, when I tell you right now, what do they do when you don't tell them something?
They fuck you.
Oh, they get mad as a motherfucker too. Oh man, do they get mad.
You mean when they find out something third hand, like from the prosecutor, like off a wiretap or something? Oh yeah, for sure.
So I've seen it happen too many times. And so one thing that I learned whenever I was fighting my cases right out the gate is I only tell them what they need to know. And then as they find out stuff, I would elaborate more on it. I wanted to see what they knew. I didn't want to tell them too much. I learned a long time ago. But when it come trial time, I gave them everything. Because I did not want to be in that courtroom and something else come out. Because the prosecutors love to hold shit to the last minute.
So you want to make sure that if you're going to trial, you tell them everything before you go to trial. Yes. In the beginning, you protect your assets.
So once you turn down your plea deals and you're set to go to trial and you're like, I'm going. Like, I don't like the plea deals. There's no turn back. That's when you drop everything right then and there and tell them everything. Shit that you don't even want to talk about. You better tell them.
It's relevant because it'll come back and be relevant.
Yeah, because you want your attorneys to have a battle plan for everything. If you don't and they get caught with their pants down in there, the jury notices that.
Right.
I hired a jury consultant, cost me 50 grand, and all she did was study the jury. Just watched them. And she would pass notes. Get off this subject. Stay on this subject. They're really perked up. They're liking this one. Stay on it. Hey guys, change the subject. Get this subject changed. They're like, this is not good. It's hurting you. And she would pass sticky notes the whole time just to watch. She was a reader and watched the jury and read the jury and would pass notes. And she was pretty damn accurate. She was really good.
Yeah, you got to keep the jury's attention. You don't want the guys to fall asleep while you're doing it. Start thinking about other shit.
Well, you want them to
They don't
fall
wanna make
asleep on the prosecutor.
They don't want to make. You don't want them to make an opinion of you on the wrong information in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it is, so say for instance the jury's sleeping, right? And then out of nowhere, the prosecutors say something that's pretty damning, and they all perk up like, holy shit. Like, you want to be aware
You
of
need to
that.
have those holy shit moments on the defense side too.
Yeah, well, you want to be able to go for damage control. You want to be able to change that. So, say for instance, it perks up, right? And they're all like, holy shit. And then when you come on the defense side and you start losing them and they start putting their head down, they're still holy shit on their side. You didn't change their minds. Now you got a mark on you, a negative. And you keep stacking them negatives up, you might as well go ahead and throw it in. So, the next thing that a lot of people don't understand that I've learned in trials too, and this was so funny about Brian Steele. It was like right out the gate. Like he kept saying, I'm like, my attorney that never fought a Fed case, never did a Fed case in her life, beat it. And here you are. And she beat the hard case. That was the hard case. This was the case. So, anyways, he's talking about, oh, this isn't like that. And I'm like, Brian. So it was like he went into it knowing that, like already, like in damage control, like he knew something. I didn't catch it. I didn't understand it until the end. I got a tip, guys, that the feds corrupted them, was going to hit them with money laundering. So what
that happens more than doesn't that happens a lot actually.
It does, and we don't know about it. Luckily, I had somebody that tipped me off, told somebody that was in the law firm, and they wanted me to know after the fact. So what happened is the feds came to them, was like, so what the feds will do on big drug cases, frauds, whatever, they're going to allow you to pay your attorney. They're going to allow you to go so far. And the reason why they do it, it's a setup. So once they realize that you're not going to cooperate and you're not going to take a plea deal, give them the W, and you say you're going to go to trial. So what they do is that they're going to eventually go to your attorneys and say, hey, do you know where Jason's getting all his money at? Of course. What are they going to say? No.
Of course.
They don't know where I'm getting my money at. So they're going to pretty much saying that they're going to be like, listen, some of that money he's gave you is ill-gotten gains. And if you don't make him take an L, which is lose in trial, or a plea deal, we're going to come after you for money laundering. If we can prove one penny of that dollar and any of them things in there is ill-gotten gains, we're coming after you for money laundering. So people got to be aware of this. So that's one reason why Brian laid down. That's what I was told. If it's true, I don't know. But I will tell you one thing. It was like the first week. It was a month-long trial. Within the first week, he was already like changed the strategy from winning to appealable grounds. So there's two ways. So once your case is going the wrong way, or your attorneys fought really hard and they realize that it's not going the way they want it, they change strategy from winning to appealable grounds.
Right.
So they start making all the arguments for appealable grounds for once you get found guilty to get you back in the courts to try to mitigate or lower your sentence.
Did you appeal the Georgia case?
I did.
What happened on the appeal?
So that's just what's so funny. My PSI came back life. I got 38 for the drugs. I got 2 for money and drugs. I had money laundering and drugs. So I got a 2-point enhancement for that. And I got a 3-point enhancement for leadership role. So it's 43 points across the board is what?
Life.
So they lowered my leadership role, revised it to 42. So they did from 3 points to 2 points, which is unheard of, really. Just because they knew that the courts weren't going to give me life on my first adult case. So what they did is during sentencing, they asked for 30 years after losing, and the judge said no and gave me 15 years. And he told him that he wasn't happy with the case. When I went to appeal,
how did they even get you back in when you already beat the case in Jacksonville?
Is because what they do is they separate your conspiracy, so it's double jeopardy. what they do is they separate to get a second bite at the apples. What they do, it's how the feds play. You can't beat them. They all get paid by the same people. The whole point of my thing is that once they realized that I wasn't going to cooperate, because they raided my clinics and then they waited a long time to indict me.
Right.
Once they realized that I wasn't going to cooperate after my attorneys met with them, they separated my cases because they haven't indicted me yet. So what they did was instead of do what they did my co-defendants, make it all one, because it was one conspiracy. So what they did is they separated it to get 2 shots at the apple, to get 2 opportunities to try to put me away and give me a life sentence, because I would have went into the second one with a prior. And that's why they did it. So once I had fought and won the first one and I lost the second one, I fought for double jeopardy on my appeals. Pretty much every court appeals came back saying everything was pretty much the reason why they gave me 15 years, not the 30. So I would never get no love on appeal. The appeals courts, all the judges, the juries, everybody is paid and picked by the same people. Who's that? The federal government. Okay. So everybody's on the same payroll. Let's get that straight. Nobody's going to go against them and be shunned or whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the day, you got to realize you can't beat these people. My attorney in Florida told me, she tried to talk me into a plea deal and said, you're going to have to give them some time. My prosecutor in Florida even told me, Jason, please take a plea deal. At some point, you're going to have to give these people some time back. You know, they're not going to let you go. And the appeals court don't want to hear everything. They're not going to rule on everything. They even know that some of this stuff is in the wrong of what they're doing, but they don't care because it lets too many people out and takes too much power away from the prosecutors to convict people and get what they want. It's all political.